Hello, Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is programminginanylanguage.com or black-duck.com. They both take you to the same place. And it's a place where you'll find the videos and PDFs of the code. The video is creating multiple forms in a project. Forms can be confining when developing applications. Panels and group boxes help. But when you need a lot of real estate for your application, nothing beats multiple forms. Yes, you can have an unlimited number of forms in your project, each the size of your computer screen. You probably won't go to that extreme, but several large forms in an application is not unusual. Let's first examine how we can create multiple forms in an application. Take a look. Up to now, we've been doing quite a bit with classes. We've been looking at properties, how to establish classes, how to create instances of class, and so on. We're going to carry that on a little bit now and take a look at application of classes. We're going to actually create multiple forms in a project because a form is a class. So let's take a look at that. Every project that has a form in Visual C# has a class. The default name of the form is Form1, and its class is also named Form1, which is stored in the Form1.cs file. Visual C# project can have multiple forms. Each form has its own class that can be instantiated and displayed on the screen. When you add additional forms to a project, you add additional classes, which are stored in their own files. When you create event handlers for a specific form's controls, you write them as methods in the form's class. When you add forms to a project, they're given default names such as Form1, Form2, and so on. When you have multiple forms in a project, you should give them meaningful names that describe their purpose. Form1 is fine in a single form application, but when you start to have multiple ones, they make no sense. They need some kind of a name to make them meaningful. To change the form's name, you use the Solution Explorer. You right-click on the Form1.cs entry that appears in the Solution Explorer. You select Rename from the pop-up menu. You type the new name in the form's file name and click Yes in the dialog box to rename the form. That's going to look something like this. We actually have a Form1 has been renamed to Main Form. Let's actually give that a shot and try that once. What we have up here is an application that we're calling Multiple Form Demo. It's got a Form1 on it. I'm going to change the name of that Form1 right now to be Main Form. Now, while it says Main Form up here, that doesn't do much good up in this area right in here. This is where our form is still called Form1. We're going to click on Form1, then right-click on it, and we're going to say Rename. Once we do that, we're going to change this to Main Form. And when I go off it, it's going to say, you are renaming a file. Would you like to perform a rename in this project of all references to the code element in Form1? Yes, I do. So it's going to go ahead and do that. And basically, it changes everything. We've got Main Form Designer, Main Form ResX, and so on down the line. So it's all been changed. So this gives us our brand new form with a name on it. So once we've made that change, we can add a new form to the project. In fact, we can have several new forms to the project. And we'd click Project on the Visual Studio menu bar. We'd select Add Form, the Windows form, from the Project menu, change the default name in the Name text box to a more descriptive name, and click the Add button. After completing these steps, a new blank form is added to the project. The new form is displayed in the Designer, and an entry for the new form's file appears in the Solution Explorer. Once you've added a form for the project, you can place controls on it. Let's see how that all happens. Basically, we go up to the multiple form test, or whatever your project is named, right-click on it, and we add another form. We actually add an item. And that's when we can see we already did it here. We added Message Form CS. So let's take a look and actually do that. I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to right-click on Multiple Form Demo, and I'm going to say Add. I'm going to add a new item. New item is going to be a Form Windows form right here. It's already highlighted. And I'm going to go down to the Form1.cs right here. So once I name it Form1.cs, I'm going to name this thing Message Form. And then click the Add button. What's happened is Message Form has popped up in here. You can actually see it. And we've got Message Form up here and Main Form. And we can bounce back and forth to them very easily. And once you do that, you also can bring up their code windows and pop back and forth on those things too. So in Visual Studio, you can easily switch your view to another form by double-clicking on the forms entering the Solution Explorer. You can use those tabs that appear at the top of the designer to display different forms and their code. And I'm going to do that right now by actually going to the main form here and bringing up its code window. You can see it pops up on there. Message form, its code window. And you don't see much in there, but I've got my message form code windows, and I've got the designer windows up here as well. You can see the message form has its class, message form class, and I can put things in here, controls, code, and the main form CS also is a main form class, and I can put all its code in here. So it's quite complete when you get to this point. Another thing you can do is you can remove a form. To remove a form from a project and delete its file from the disk, you can right-click on the forms entering the Solution Explorer window, and on the pop-up window, click Delete. This is going to delete the entire form, its code, everything associated with it from the application completely. So it's off your disk. It's gone. To remove a form from a project but leave its file on disk, you can right-click on the forms entering the Solution Explorer window, and on the pop-up menu, click Exclude from Project. What this does, it gets rid of the form from your project, but allows it to stay. You might have actually created a form that's very useful for some other purpose, and you don't need it in this particular application anymore, but you want to put it in a different application. So you can exclude it from the project. You can open up a different project later and bring it in, actually add it to your new current project. Let's take a look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my main form design here. I'm going to add another form called form window again. I'm going to call this one delete form. And add it. This creates another form for me that I can actually have up here. You can see it. Delete form is sitting up here. It's already got the name delete form. What I'd like to do now is delete it from my application. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and click on it. Right-click on it. And if I delete it, I get the message, delete form CS will be deleted permanently. If I click OK on that, it's going to be gone. It'll disappear from the file completely. I'm going to cancel this, though, because I want to actually go ahead and remove it from the project, exclude it from the project. So I'll exclude it here, and it's gone. It's gone from here. However, I can easily bring up my multi-form demo that I've created here, look at the code inside here, and you can see that the delete form is still in my folder. So it's still available for other projects to grab it and use it. I can even bring it back into this one if I want and make it part of my application again. So you can create forms, delete them, or exclude them from the project so you can retain what you've actually created. Now, the whole purpose to creating multiple forms in a project is you want to be able to display them, put controls on them, and use them. Make sense of these things. Expand your project, make it more powerful. To display a form in your application, you need to create an instance of the form's class. MessageForm.myMessageForm equals new message form. That's basically the code that will create the instance of the form that you're looking for. The above code declares the reference variable, named myMessageForm. It creates an object of the myMessageForm class in memory and assigns a reference to the object to myMessageForm.variable. You then, after creating an instance, you can use the showDialog method to display the form. myMessageForm.showDialog. The showDialog method displays the form on the screen and gives that form the focus. And here we have that application and what it might look like. We have this main form that says display message form, a button on here. We click on this, and the code in there actually creates the instance of the myMessageForm and then shows it, uses the show dialog to actually create it. And we end up with this display message form. We run it, we go ahead and click that button, and we get the message form popping up. Let's take a look at that and see how that actually happened. If we go to our main form, which we have right here, and we want to create something on here, we're going to go ahead and actually add a button to it. So we'll put a button on the main form. And we'll go in here and we'll say that the button, and we're going to create it. We're going to say, display message form. Display message form. And we'll go ahead and change the font on this thing to make it a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to go ahead and change this button. And so in code, I can reference it as btn display. And I'm going to make it large so I can see the whole thing that I created here. There's our little mess. Let's go ahead and format that guy on the screen. Center on form horizontally and center it vertically. So it's there. So there's our form. Now I want to go over to my message form. And when it comes up, I'm going to display on it. I'm going to put a label on this thing. And this label is going to say nothing more than this is the message form. And I'm going to change its font to be bold and give it a size 10 as well so we can see that much clearer on here. And I'm going to go ahead and center this guy on the form. So it's there. Now, I'm going to go back to my message form, my main form. I'm going to double click on it to bring up the code window. Now, this is how we actually will make that form appear. We're going to say message form, my message form equals new message form. That's going to create the instance of the message form called my message form. We're then going to say my message form, which we can use now, show dialog. This is going to actually display the message form. We'll go ahead and save this guy. And let's run it. As you can see, it comes up. I've got my display message form sitting here. Main form is showing. I'll click on the display message form and up it pops. This is the main form. I cannot get back to the main form anymore because message form has the focus. I have to actually get out of it in order to go ahead and display another one if I wanted to, or to eliminate or get rid of the project. Now, I want to show you one more thing. This is the show dialog piece. It's actually creating and showing a modal form. We're going to look more at this in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this code, bring it down and place it here, comment out that first one, and I'm going to take the second one here and I'm going to just get rid of the dialog piece and just call it show. And what this is going to do is it's going to display this message form modalist. In other words, it won't retain the focus, or it'll allow the user to be able to control that. I'm going to save this now, save all, and we'll run it again. There's our message form, or our main form. We'll click on it, and up pops a message box, which we can get at. We can move this. We can also get over here and move this one. We can also click on this again and create another instance. And another one. And another one. So what's happening is when you make a modeless form, you can create multiple instances of them and go to any one of these and give yourself the focus and be able to deal with them. When you get rid of the main form, all the subforms go away with it. So that's what we're going to be exploring in the next video. We're going to kind of take a look and see what we can do if we start putting controls on these forms and make use of them and pass code between the forms and make them very, very useful. That's declaring multiple forms in an application in a nutshell. Interesting, to say the least. In the next video, we will explore adding controls to your forms. We'll also examine modal and modalist forms and when each might make sense. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance, and please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.